So by the title of this video slash podcast, you can probably tell what we are going to be conversing on about. Well, it's something that I have been noticing for quite some time now. And the past few days really just led me to think more about this topic and to research more on this and just to analyze this topic way more than I ever paid any time to this. So yeah, without any further ado, let's just jump into today's video. Let's go. Interesting to think about, isn't it? That why are so many Indians, I'm talking full-grown adults, working professionals who make enough money to live on their own, why are they so scared to live alone? Because this really isn't about money, it's about culture, it's about conditioning, it's about comfort, and it's about something much more deeper than we don't really like to admit. I have written a script, so whenever I'm shooting videos like this, I usually write them down. So pardon me if I am looking down in the middle or something. I'm not distracted or anything. I'm just looking at what I have written. The 4 pillars that I have divided this video into. Number 1 being culture and conditioning. Number 2 being finances. Number 3 being I cannot do this, excuses. Number 4 is the real fear, the fear of being alone by yourself and with yourself. So let's begin from the very top. The culture and conditioning. Well, the culture where I am from, it's extremely normal to live with your parents and to live in the family home, in a joint family system, or even just it's just your parents. It does not have to be you're living with the grandparents also and you all are living in the same place, but a lot of people, they have joint family systems. And you live in the same home from your very childhood. You did your schooling, sometimes you live in your family home even when you're doing your college, and then you start working, you're still living in your same house, and then you get married. Most people would move out after getting married, but no, you would stay with your family, with your parents. In case of guys, obviously, because for women, they move to the guys' homes, whatever you want to call them. And mostly, how it is seen as the broader sense, it is seen as love. It is seen as family bonding. It is seen as you being the part of the culture. And most importantly, it is seen as good values. And yes, here's the thing, family support and having a supportive family is very important, but I feel like that excess of everything is bad. There's a huge difference in having a supportive family who supports your decision, who lets you, yes, I'm using the term let, because in a lot of cases you're not allowed to think for yourself on your own. You're always kind of expected to think from the family's point of view, not from the individual's point of view. But yes, a lot of families do allow you to be your own person. I'm using the word allow and let because that's the case, because that is how a lot of kids are treated in the society where I am from. Most kids are treated as kind of investments, that we gave birth to you because we want to invest in you. We have invested so much in you from your childhood. We put you through good schooling, good college. We helped you build your career. We provided food, shelter, the basic necessities. Now it is your turn to help us in our old age. So this is the kind of mindset that a lot of parents have in our society. So talking about allow and let, from the very childhood, you are taught to obey your elders, be respectful, don't argue with them. Whatever they are saying, it's always right, no matter what. Even if you're not allowed to think that if they are wrong or not. You're not, because that is not your job. Your job is to always say yes to them, whatever they are saying. Even though you might think that I don't agree with that, or I don't think that they're right all the time, but no, you're not allowed to say that, because the moment you say that, that is disobedience. And that is against the family values, that is against the culture values. And elders, parents always know better. So you just have to listen and obey and say yes. You have to adjust. You cannot be your own person. You cannot have your own choices, your own free will. And I'm not even talking about like big decisions here. Let's start with small decisions. I think I have shared this story before in one of my videos. When I was a kid, my parents used to decide what clothes I'm going to wear. I wasn't allowed to make that choice, like if I like this color or not, if I like this jeans or not, if I like that t-shirt or not. I kid you not, I didn't have any taste growing up. Like, because I kind of wasn't allowed to find my taste, like find what I like, what I don't like. What I had as a child, literally a duplicacy of what my parents used to enjoy. The films, the music, the clothes, the fashion sense, the hairstyle. Like, as kids, forget about hairstyles, that's a huge deal, because in schools you're told to, I don't know, I exactly cannot pinpoint the word what they tell you to become, because it's like so plain Jane. You're supposed to like do a braid and have a hairband and tie your hair all the time. And in schools you have uniform, so you have to like dress up properly, to like very disciplined. It is good in some way or another, but it is also I feel like it is also confining you in a box where you cannot be your individual person, like express yourself in some way. Maybe you want to express yourself with a distinct hairstyle. Maybe you want to express yourself with a distinct, I don't know, because it was a uniform, so there was like no different variety of clothes that you can express yourself with. So what else can it be? Maybe you want to wear a watch, maybe you want to wear a bracelet, but that wasn't really allowed. You cannot wear anything in your hands. And I still don't know, how is that distracting? Like, a child is learning how to express themselves in a creative way, in a fashionable way. I think fashion is very creative. It's like individuals' taste and personality that portrays through fashion. But I don't know, what was that logic? I still cannot really understand it, why teachers used to do that, why schools had that sort of mindset, and so does parents in lots of cases. Because, as I was saying, like my parents like used to decide what pants I'm going to wear outside of school, what I'm going to eat, what is going to be my favorite ice cream flavor. Because whenever I used to say that, okay, I want to try that one, my dad or my mom always used to say, you're probably not going to like it, so we are not going to buy that. Which was like, okay, but I never tried that, so how can you tell that I'm not going to like it? That just does not make any sense. I feel like I don't know if I'm making sense with this point or not. Or maybe I'm like just making a very far-fetched point out of this, that if you're telling your child that trying something new or experimenting with something new is not really welcomed, so a child might think that might correlate it with other things as well in life, that okay, what if I don't like it, so I'm not going to try it, I'm just not going to experiment with it. I know this is a very far-fetched point, but it's possible, because you don't know with children. That's your developing phase. You never know what they might pick up, what lesson they will learn from little small things. Because that is what I learned. For the longest time, I was so scared to try new things. Even still, I'm not even kidding. Even still, I am scared to try new food because I feel like that, okay, I feel like I'm not going to like this. So I will just like, stick with the basic ice cream flavors, strawberry or vanilla or chocolate. When I tried for the very first time mint choco chip or coffee ice cream, I think I was like 23 or 24 years old when I tried that. I took a risk. You know what? I'm going to try that. Maybe I will like it. Let's just see what is going to happen. If I don't like it, it will get wasted. So it does not matter. But I'm going to try it. So yeah, anyways, I sort of diverted from the topic. Let's move on. Let's go ahead with the script. So yes, I talked about small decisions, and then comes the bigger decisions. The big ones. Oh my god, this is my favorite ones. The big ones being, what are you going to study? Which subject are you going to take? Which program are you going to take in college? Which college are you going to apply to that is suitable for us as a family in the entire society, or in the society that is there in the neighborhood, which is prestigious enough for us? Or here comes the big one, who you are going to marry in some cases. Because that is also a huge decision that parents make. Or I would say society, because parents are also the part of the society and they act in a certain way because of that society. Who are you going to marry? The parents are going to decide, not you. It's not your choice. You're just here to obey and adjust to our decisions that we are going to inflict onto you. What job you're going to have is also dictated by your parents. Well, like even when you're changing a job, you always ask your parents. Because see, here's the thing, I'm not even joking with this. A lot of guys and girls that I know, that I have worked with, they always ask their parents if they should change the job or not. And it is just not that. It's like a working professional, and I'm talking about like my friend, one of my friends, he was like, I was about to make a big purchase for myself I think it was the first time I was actually going to buy a new laptop. And he was like, and I told him, and he was like, okay, have you talked to your parents about it? And I was like so shocked about it. I was like, what's there to talk about? Like, I am spending my money on something that I want to buy, so why should I ask for their permission? And he just started laughing. And I was like, okay, that is weird. And then after a few months, he was like, you know what, I'm thinking about buying an Apple Watch. And I was like, okay, that's cool, then you should buy it. And he was like, yeah, I'll talk to my parents about it, and then I'll put the order. I mean, I have to pay for it, but I have to tell them as well. And I was like, this is coming from a grown man who makes his own money. And I'm not even talking about like, he just makes just like the starting level of salary. No, he's at a good position, he makes good money, but he still have to ask his parents to buy something from his own money, might I add. Which is just like, okay. Okay, I don't understand this at all. I am privileged in this department because my parents, they never really interfered in my life or dictated in terms of if I'm making money. They were always like, it's your money, you don't have to give a penny to us, it's yours, treat it however you want to treat it, burn it, throw it, save it, whatever you want, it's yours. We are not going to question it, obviously. So I'm very, very privileged and grateful that I have that, because a lot of people really don't. And it baffles me when I hear these stories and when I hear these comments from these people. So going back to the topic, the smaller decisions and the bigger ones. So over time, when these sort of things keeps on happening over and over and over again, you just get used to someone else dictating things in your life and having a say in your independence. So you just like, it just does not really feel natural to you to do things for yourself and to step outside of that, because it is not easy, because you're conditioned that way from the very beginning. So that is your second nature, and you are that becomes your whole comfort zone, might I add. And when you try to step out of that, it just does not really feel natural, does it? It is way harder. So coming to moving out or just renting a place for yourself, it just feels wrong. It just feels out of place. It just feels like somebody is taking your whole world, because you don't know what to do. You don't know where to start. You don't know how you're going to survive outside of that system, because you haven't even made the basic decisions in your life from the very beginning, because you were conditioned to obey all the time with every single decision. So you don't know how to live outside of that state of mindset. And it also feels like that you're going against your parents or you're being selfish. And when I say this, I really mean it, that many people, a lot of people don't really consider, don't even like think of it, does not even cross their mind that, you know what, I should move out, I should live on my own. They don't think that it is a real option. It's not because that they don't want freedom. It's just like, I don't know what exactly it is like. Sometimes I feel like that they themselves think that they are not really allowed to. And the other reason is like, which a lot of people have stated to me, is that, you know, living alone, and you'll have to do all the work, have to cook food. Like I have a full-time job, so I don't really have time to cook or anything. Like I'll have to do my own laundry. I'm like, and this is coming from a 30-something dude. When I asked him, who was working in an MNC, by the way, he was working in an MNC along with me, and I think he was, I don't think he was the head of the strategy department, but he was up there. He was at that level, who was making quite a lot of money per year. This was coming from him, who was living with his family because he cannot cook. He does not know how to. He has not done his laundry. He has everything in his house ready. He does not need to clean or anything. It's like, okay. Okay. So people have not really seen what true independence looks like. That's why a lot of people, when they migrate to the West, a lot of them cannot really survive. That's what I feel like. This is just like my POV. Don't come after me or saying that, no, this is not true. There are multiple reasons. There are blah, 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 whatever. Okay. The second segment that we are going to move into is finances. When I say that people don't want to move out because of the society and they feel obligated to live with their parents and like yada yada yada, or they don't want to move out or anything, when I say all of that, when I say all of the above, by no means I'm ignorant to the fact of the true current situation, the economic and the housing crisis. I know it exists. I know a lot of people cannot afford to live in their own spaces or to rent out spaces. I know that for sure. But this video is not really about them. This video is about the people who can afford to live on their own, but they are still choosing to be with their family. And yes, for some people, it is valid reasons, that maybe that their parents are very sick, so they have to be there. They have to take care of them. That is a true valid reason. And I'm not stating those people into this category. I'm choosing the people whose parents are fine, they're well-to-do, they can take care of themselves on their own, or they have the resources to hire someone who can take care of them, but the kids are still living with them, even when the kids are not really taking care of the parents. I'm talking about that category, just FYI, if that wasn't clear. So when finances and money is not the real reason, then what exactly is? Well, just because I'm sharing my opinion, is I feel like that it's comfort, as I already mentioned, that people, when you're living in the same household for so many years, it just becomes your comfort zone. The idea of getting out of there and to see the world and live, it just becomes scary. Just like any other new thing when you try it. Just like getting into a job, doing a job, it feels scary initially because you don't know what is happening. You're always like, okay, am I doing this right? Is this fine or not? Like, am I going to get scolded by my manager? Are they going to like me or not? Gazillion questions. I agree, 100% agree. But that does not mean that trying something always leads to failure. Because here's the thing, growth rarely happens when you are in a comfort or in a comfortable place. It rarely happens. It happens when you put yourself out of that comfort zone because you learn a gazillion things. You experience new things. You learn a lot of things about yourself. You have no idea. I started living by myself for the past 3 months now, and the amount of things that I have learned about myself is magical. And the amount of things that I'm still learning, I'm not talking about doing chores, doing my laundry on my own, making food on my own, cleaning the house on my own. What else? What's the main one? Like, yeah, calling the plumber on my own and getting my geyser fixed. No, electrician. I meant electrician, my bad. What else? Paying the electricity bill on my own, paying other utility bills on my own. These are the essential things that you should know. But most importantly, because you learn all of these one way or another, you can learn all of these when you're living with your parents as well. But you won't get to do your laundry. You won't get to wash the dishes. You won't get to cook food on your own when you're living with your family, because either you have your mom or you have a house help who does that for you. Let's be realistic. That's true. Because when I was living with my grandmother before this, I never lifted a finger. There was house help who used to cook for the both of us, who used to do our laundry, who used to clean the house, who used to pretty much do everything for us. But when I shifted alone, I had to do everything on my own. Yes, I did learn how to mop the floors properly, and it is very important. I watched YouTube videos about it, how to do it properly. I'm still learning. But most importantly, what I learned is myself. What I like, what I don't like. My boundaries have grown more stronger ever since I moved and started living on my own. I got this quite confidence in me on how to deal with people in the office. I just figured myself more because I started spending time with myself more. Does that make sense, whatever I am saying? Or it's just like random babbling? And here's the other reason that I feel like is true for a lot of people. See, I'm an introvert, so it worked out for me. It might not work out for a lot of people because a lot of people, they flourish in company, and when people move out, they are living in complete loneliness. So some people are not comfortable with just being with themselves all alone because you're not comfortable with yourself at all. And I have that advantage here because I love my company. I love spending time with myself. I love talking to myself sometimes. I know it sounds weird. It sounds like, okay, she's a psycho. But no, maybe I am in some departments, but I love that. I love talking to myself and figuring myself out and just knowing myself better, So wrapping up the finances bit, I just feel like that is just the surface level excuse that people make when anyone asks them that, okay, why are you not moving out? Yada, 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 you make good money or anything. So they just, sometimes it's true, maybe they have debt or something, but I feel like in lots of cases it cannot be true. And it's just like this deeper fear of just figuring things out on their own, being responsible for yourself, spending time with yourself. Because I can put a stamp on it. My grandmother, she cannot. She's a people person. She's an extrovert, polar opposite than I am. She hates her own company. She cannot be in her own company for 1 hour. She needs to either talk to people 24/7 over the phone, over the FaceTime, or she has to like have the television on all the time. And when she has the television on, she just gets depressed because she does not have anyone to talk to. So I can put a stamp on it that people are like that, who does not really enjoy their own company, or they are not comfortable with themselves to be alone. Moving on to segment 3, the I cannot do the chores excuse. It's genuinely, it's as I mentioned before as well, that it is a very shocking excuse for me. Because when that guy, who is like earning probably twice more than I am, and this was coming from him, so it was really shocking. So, and this is true, and it wasn't just one guy, it was multiple people, guys and girls. Like, I've had actual people who make more money and who are at like very, very, very seniority level say to me very seriously that I cannot live alone. I won't be able to manage everything. And by everything, they mean cooking, washing clothes, cleaning dishes, basic daily life tasks, ordering groceries, figuring out what to cook, what not to cook, these kind of stuff. It's just like, it's the mom's job or it's the house help's job. I cannot do it. Oh, poor guy. Woohoo. Sorry, I'm making fun. But yeah, because it's coming from a full grown adult. Not even talking about people in their 20s. There are people in their 30s who are talking like this. The people who have handled office work, they've handled deadlines, they have handled nasty clients, presentations, pitch works, responsibilities. But the idea of taking care of their own homes, it just feels overwhelming. And that's very shocking, actually. Because how is that even possible? When you can handle all that toxicity in the office, in an unfamiliar place, how come handling something inside your own home becomes like a chore, becomes like an excuse? I don't think that this is inability, because you can. These are very learnable basic skills. Anyone can learn them. I mean, you're not going to become a Michelin star chef, obviously, but you can learn basic cooking. You can learn basic cleaning. You can learn how to do your laundry. It's a very simple task. You can learn how to order, like, I know. Who does not know how to order groceries? I think it's just like the dependence issue, the dependence that we have on our parents, and that was never broken because we were never really allowed to express or allowed to experience the things around us in a way that we should have. And it just, I don't know what it is. It's not weird. It is beyond weird. So the thought of living alone, and when you are living alone, it does not really feel like independence to a lot of people. It just feels like a burden. Oh my god, I have to go home. What am I going to cook? I have to cook too. I might as well just like order something from outside. I have to do the chores on the weekend. Nobody likes to do chores. That's okay. So yeah, it just, that independence, it does not really feel like empowerment, and it just feels more like burden. Now coming to segment 4, the real fear, being alone with yourself. I have also covered this in segment 2 itself. Because here's the thing, I can talk about this segment forever, because I genuinely feel like that this is the real reason that people cannot live with themselves. A lot of people cannot be in their own company for a period of time, for a long period of time. They just need some sort of simulation. If not human interaction, they just they either have to have something, either just watch TV or just play video games, or just be busy into doing something, so that they are distracted from their own thoughts, from their own minds, from their own company. Lots of people are scared to just sit there in silence. And I feel like it's very empowering when you do that, when you are just sitting in silence with yourself and with your own thoughts. I feel like it's just a real way to connect with yourself. I know it sounds weird and sounds like voodoo shit, or sounds like that I'm a psycho or crazy cuckoo person. But no, I feel like that's normal. Just like for you, going out to the parties and drinking and dancing after being blackout drunk is normal. For me, this is normal. Just enjoying my own company, reading a book, or maybe just not reading a book, maybe just sitting and just closing my eyes for a bit, meditating. If not meditating, just sitting and thinking about something. So yeah, when you live alone, you meet with the silence, and in that silence you learn about yourself, you get to know yourself more, you meet your true self, your thoughts, your insecurities, your emotions, what you like, what you don't like, your boundaries, everything in between. So yeah, for me as an individual, living alone it just supported my emotional growth, because I have learned so much about myself in these 3 months that I don't think I would be able to learn that much if I were still living with my grandmother. And yes, here are my closing thoughts. That was segment 4 for you guys. With all of that being said, by no means I'm saying that everyone should move out of their families. No. I mean, family support is valuable, it's very important, and everyone's situation is different. Everyone cannot afford to move out. But I do think that it is very highly important to ask yourself that, am I staying here because I genuinely want to, or am I just scared of what independence will demand from me once I move out? So let me know your thoughts. Yeah, that was it from my end and my POV towards this topic. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, let's chit chat. This is a safe space and I would love to hear your thoughts. With that being said, I think I'm just going to end this video/podcast, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye bye.